Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Weaving Web3 with me, Stash.
Me, Chris.
And me, James.
So today we're going to be talking about, are we back in the bull market, or is this a bull trap? Which I think we are in a bull trap, and it's the market maker wanting to suck up all our monies before we go into a recession. What about you guys?
No, I'm going to completely disagree with you. To be fair, actually,
I think James is just completely caught off guard by the fact that you'd be interested this
No,
time.
no, I like that. Well, look, we're going to change it up a little bit, every now and then. People might think that's pre-recorded. We do that live every week. We're bringing it to the people.
It might sound exactly the same, but
that's just hard work, talent, the rest of it. No, it's really interesting, isn't it? Right. So, is this a real bull run? Why do you not think it is, Stash? If that's your starting position.
So basically, historically, a bull market, when it goes down into a bear market, usually lasts around 9 months, based on historical data, and history likes to repeat itself. And this time we're in a recession, basically, or we're going into a recession. And I don't think that we are easing into more stable strategies. And like you said earlier about loans still being very expensive, and the available money to us, like the retail traders, is not really there. So within recessions, you can see historically bear markets last to about over a year to potentially 2 years. So I definitely think there's a lot of market manipulation still, because we're still going to be waiting for potential bankruptcies and sell-offs from all the things that happened last year. So that is going to definitely impact us, I personally think.
Do you think that either of you two think crypto has actually ever seen a recession? Because I would say our last recession was 2007, 2008 financial crash.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, crypto doesn't really seem old enough to have that much historical data to go by, right? I mean, I know everyone says that like history repeats itself. Like you see these peaks, these like troughs, everything, and there's like a pattern. However, when was the first Bitcoin minted, right? It wasn't that long ago.
No. And certainly was it 2012?
So I feel like in order to predict these things, a lot of people go based on like economic situations, like the stock market, right? Which you got to consider, but then you've also got to consider the differences between the crypto, and so it might not actually follow it. I personally agree with Stash that I don't think this is the start of a bull run. I think this is something else. Things are going up, they're going to go back down again. There's a lot of caution still about, a lot of fear on the fear greed index, right? So there's a lot of people still scared because they've just gone through all of this of losing all this money. So I think there's still a way to lose yet.
Yeah, because crypto is cyclical is essentially what you're saying, isn't it, Sash? That
crypto
will have, but the trend as I see it is crypto starts getting news articles and bits. That seems to be how it's gone before. People start FOMOing in. But like, people who are interested in the space FOMO in first, and then it hits general, and then people go, oh, Bitcoin, people make loads of money with this, and then more gets to the top. The people who've been in the market a long time tend to exit at that stage. And then the people who've just bought in and don't follow it, don't know it, end up losing the money. And they go, well, that was rubbish. But they see other people, maybe friends as well, who've encouraged them to get into it, have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then all the faith drops off the planet. Everyone goes, well, it's just a Ponzi scheme. And then you start hearing the whispers again.
That's the funniest part of it. That people lose money on it, and then they're like, "Oh no, it's crap. I hate it."
I
never go back to crypto. Whereas you get other people, like me and James who just love losing money. So we're like, "This is perfect." Go on,
definitely. No, I definitely think as long as all these finance bro and Wall Street are in crypto, we're not going to be broken free from their kind of stock market and bonds, everything kind of way, because they basically, all those people just went into crypto and basically are manipulating just as like the stock market. And I truly believe that one day the whole point of crypto is become separate. When the stock market crashes, I hope Bitcoin is just still staying, remains like this, the original design of store of value and stuff like that. I'm really hoping that's where we reach. But right now, as long as we, like you, I really like what you said earlier about as long as everything's fiat controlled, it's just going to be, that's what we're essentially relying on.
Yeah.
So like the thing of interest that I think is different about this downturn compared to all the others is last time this happened, there were no big financial institutions like fiat-based ones really in crypto. But if you look around now, the reason why we had multiple Black Swan events is like with FTX, was it with the Ontario's pension fund, teachers pension fund, lost like 93 million. And you think that would have never happened in 2018 because they would have never bought. And that's why I'm cautious about this run, because these big funds will be looking for somewhere to invest again. And they're going to be like, well, it's risky.
They need to make the money back.
They want to make the money back. So, and there's a lot of big financial institutions who are interested. Now, I think, can they get there without, because the thing is, retail are small amounts in large volume. Whereas like BlackRock can chuck hundreds of millions and it's like, well, is what it is. So what's interesting is, could these financial institutions start a bull run without the hype because of their deep pockets? And that's the bit that I'm like, I'm not sure yet. And that's a funny one. I feel like they still need retail though, because
retail pumps everything at the hype.
That's the thing. So many people see something going up and they get the FOMO and they're like, oh my God, I need to buy now. Right. That's why people end up buying at like the peaks, because they're like, oh, it's not finished going up. Like I know people who bought at like all-time highs for certain things, like because you have confidence, right?
Guilty.
That's the greed in the fear of greed index, right? So I feel like these big institutions can start something. Sure, they can start an uptrend. They can start this, I don't know, 20% rise, right, in crypto, but they can't necessarily maintain it.
No, that's why they need retail to come in to make their money.
Exactly.
But I wonder if this will attract some retail back. I don't know. And I think the reason why it maybe won't attract as much retail back is, Stash talked about it earlier, the whole world is suffering inflation, essentially large inflation, due to governments spending money on COVID.
Yeah,
that's essentially what it boils down to. From my perspective, is every government in the world, when we need to put in measures, we need to give out funds, we need to, like the US, was it like £600 per person? The UK, we did furlough schemes, we did Eat Out to Help Out, we did all sorts of things, but it's all government money. And I know Help Out, but whatever. But it is millions and millions of pounds of government money.
Great, I loved it. Half price KFC, I cannot go wrong with that.
You can't lose, because KFC were the ones that needed the help. It's for independence, Chris. But yeah, so all those schemes put money into the world. It happened in every country all at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, not every country had good systems, but I mean, a lot of the developed nations did that. And you think all that money being pumped into the system is going to create inflation, and we're seeing it now. And all that means is the governments are going to have to recoup that, either like through taxes. Like we had new tax bits released, but they didn't go through. But they either need to recoup that, or the world then just gets more expensive, doesn't it? Because all these companies, then again, that's the other side of it, is that the companies shut down and lost profits. They go, well, we need to recoup our COVID losses, so we're going to put our prices up. Like we've seen it with the fuel. As soon as that war broke out in Ukraine, every fuel supplier was like, right, fuel now costs twice as much. And like we're seeing it now, but they are recouping, like petrol, whatever. They go, well, we didn't have any petrol sales. Our petrol sales are now reduced because people are working from home, whatever. So we're going to recoup our losses.
Cough it up.
But it is, and that's what's happening. So I think where retail would normally have, a bit more money to play, I think salaries aren't increasing at the same rate that inflation is, that other costs that they have to pay, necessities, food, fuel, housing. Like housing in England is ludicrous. I know in the States, in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, it's the same. So people don't have as much spare money in their pockets as they did. So I think that is going to depress this, and that's what we call it a
Absolutely.
recession. But that's going to depress crypto as well. I think anyone who thinks that this 20% jump is the big jump either has a lot of money themselves and doesn't know about the general circumstances of most of the world, or is being a little naive. I could be completely wrong. But that's
Also,
my stance.
I think a major player in this is going to be, I'm not sure how much it will affect it right now, but the Genesis bankruptcy. Genesis obviously filed for bankruptcy, and they are massive. Like, when they start selling off their assets, there is going to be a big dump.
Well,
That's probably going to be in a year's time, because in
Yeah, so
America it
it's
works
not going to be for a
differently.
while, but it's not a good sign, if you know what I mean.
I think I mentioned before, haven't I, that Genesis actually work as a broker for a lot of staking.
Yeah.
So a lot of exchanges use their staking providing is going through Genesis. Not maybe not for you guys, maybe for listeners, but so them going down actually has a much larger impact than just losing their business. It actually impacts staking across the board. And then again, if getting liquidity for projects, so getting loans in crypto for crypto projects is harder, then the people who can still offer it will probably put their prices up because it's more difficult and they want a better return. So you then have again an inflationary aspect within inside crypto. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. I think the next thing that might kick it off will be the Bitcoin halving. Honestly, I think because when the Bitcoin halving happens, will we see a jump in Bitcoin, and then traditionally the jump in Bitcoin drags everything with it.
Yeah.
When is that again? Is it end of 2023 or 2024?
I cannot remember off the top of my head. Was the last one? Was the last one 2019? So 2020 this year, I think.
This year.
Check.
Ooh.
Bitcoin halving.
Your Bitcoin, boys.
Not financial advice.
No, yeah.
No, 2020 was the last one.
2020,
was May
yeah.
May 2020. So yeah, so 2024, and that would also give enough time really for the
economic recovery,
economy to recover a bit.
Yeah.
So I think that is where I will be aiming for. I think, like I say, I could be wrong, but that's sort of the timescale that I think I'm going to look at, rather than thinking it'd be over in 9 months, because the macroeconomic factors to me don't add up to the fact that we're going to be able to recover now.
You using big words.
No, not just a pretty face and a big cake. There's something on here too.
Yeah, and the thing with this like big rise in crypto, right, is that it also means that that basically anyone that has bought during this sort of downturn, like some of the big companies, they can sell off a lot of their stuff for a decent profit, right? So there's definitely going to be a dump, like, in my opinion. You've got to anticipate it coming, right? Whatever you do about that is obviously your own prerogative. I mean, I'm the classic hodler, so I will look away, just not look at my account,
Don't look at his NFTs on OpenSea.
Yeah.
That proves to you he never sells. You wouldn't believe the sort of stuff he's got in there. His hidden folder.
My little hidden folder of,
and not that special one on your laptop either, Chris. The other one, the OpenSea one. But no, I think it's really interesting though, like when we talk about this, because is a 30% jump enough for you guys to sell? Because it's really interesting to me. Like, if you'd been DCAing in, like £300 a month since June or July, would you have a 30% gain? You probably wouldn't. I think crypto's probably back up to where it was in June, July, don't you think? Pre-FTX.
Ooh,
No, I think honestly,
some areas, I think, yeah. Certain.
Okay, maybe Bitcoin.
not quite, but
But yeah. But I don't think you would actually, if you'd been DCAing for that period, I don't think you'd have enormous gains. I mean, what was crypto's? Oh, sorry. When I say crypto, I quite often talk about Bitcoin because it's just the easiest one to follow. What was Bitcoin's last peak? 50K?
Something like that. Yeah.
So I wonder if actually you just half it and go like, maybe it's a good buy up to 25K. I don't know. It's really difficult to
So
tell,
what's
isn't
it
it?
at now? Didn't it go down to like 80?
I'm doing it all in pounds, so it's probably, I think it's like 18.5 at the moment.
Yeah.
So right
Um,
now,
some,
Yeah,
something in that.
I do mine in pounds as well. Like, and it's quite annoying because everyone does it in dollars.
Everyone
I've
does it
been
in
doing it in
dollars.
dollars. So right now, Ethereum is 1.6 for 2K, and its
Wow.
Bitcoin is 22.8.
I mean that
Yeah.
says a lot because Ethereum went all the way down to like 1K, didn't it?
It went down to
800 or $800.
Yeah.
£875 is my last buy on ETH.
Yeah, all right, show off.
I know. Look at
We
that.
get it.
Look at that. That was honestly, I saw it and I was like, nah, this is too low. But
Yeah.
ETH is too. When that is probably my only good crypto trade so far. But that was just that I saw it and I went, ETH does everything. This price is silly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
that was
remember
pre FTX. That was June
I remember seeing ETH at like
July.
1,500 and then it jumped to like 3K and I was like in
yeah.
dollars. And I was
Yeah.
like, damn, I should have bought at 1,500. Like this month it's crazy. It's really interesting to follow as well, but also you kind of want
Absolutely.
to hit your head against the brick wall for not buying at certain times.
It's like I think with all of it though, like you just have to. I think you have to have a number in your head where you sell. Like, we were talking about this pre-record, of going like, what X return are you happy with, and then do you just forget it? Because like there's a concept called a min-max regret. So if you're doing decision making in a business, right? Sometimes what you'll do is you do a little matrix. The matrix will have column 1, column 2, column 3, row 1, row 2, row 3, and there'll be a matrix of, if we choose project A, we'll make 10 million if the market's bad, 20 million if the market's fair, 30 million if the market's good, right? And that might be the lowest risk. And then option 3 at the bottom might be, if the market's bad, we'll lose 50 million. If the market's fair, we'll make 10 million. And if the market's great, we'll make 150 million.
Yeah.
And what you can do is put in, with probabilities and stuff, the options, and then there are different options that you can do. So you can do a maxi min, where you choose the one that has the highest minimum, so that's the least risky. You can have a maxi max, which you choose the bottom one. We could make 150. And then there's a min max regret, which is for each column. So good, fair, and like bad economy, fair economy, good economy. You look at what you'd have the maximum regret for.
Yeah.
And those are like 3 options. And that's something I think in crypto is, a lot of people are doing a regret system, but it's not forecasting, it's historic. So they're looking back and going, I could have made this, rather than what they did make.
Yeah.
And I sort of think, if you look back and if somebody had offered you, you'll make 20%, you'd probably have gone, that seems good. I would take that. But it's only when you find out you could have had 40%.
So that's the thing. Like, for instance, me, and I know this is wrong. This is bad. Like, I see, I don't know, whatever crypto I've bought, I see it goes up to a certain value. And I'm like, okay, I've turned my £1,000 into £1,500. I don't sell. A week passes, it's back down to 1,200. And I'm like, well, I'm not selling for 1,200. I could have got 1,500.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and that's stupid because you end up holding on to it as
and
it's
then it
going
goes
down,
and down and
and
down.
then it goes down and down and down, and you end up losing money. Like,
what I learned this time, I bought the stuff I told you to buy some cryptos just Christmas, December time, and this is the first time ever I sold. When did we sell? Like a few days ago, a nice 100% profit. It went up higher to 200, but at the end of the day, I was like, I learned my lessons. I've been burnt hard. Like, I lost thousands just watching my tokens go down. It's like, it's probably going to go up. It's going, no, it didn't. But so I've been learning. So I just wanted to say that I'm proud that I have learned from my mistakes. And
congratulations.
When it goes down again, I'm going to reinvest, still get more tokens. And
I think like, I'm a bit of a Bitcoin maxi. Or like, I've got like a bit of ETH because I was doing a few bits on like OpenSea and stuff with you boys. Stash telling me to buy tokens, me doing none of my own research and just go buy. Because Stash is a good bloke, he's pretty trustworthy. But for me, like with Bitcoin, I look at that and I'm like, well, I just want a higher number of Bitcoin. I don't care what the fiat value is. So if I can cash out and buy more and just
One
get
Bitcoin
more,
equals one Bitcoin.
yeah, literally, and be like,
That's
okay,
the end of the day, yeah.
and be like, am I betting that like Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever, across 10 years is going to be worth loads more? Well, it doesn't matter what it's worth now. I'm never taking that money out. So let's just put money in each month and see how many Bitcoin I can get, or ETH or whatever, and then don't worry about the fiat values. Sell when you think you can get more. The market at some point will dip and you can buy more than you could have done, or whatever. And I think the problem is though, the FOMO is hard, isn't it?
For certain projects, absolutely. There's a few projects that are in price discovery right now because of this pump, and you're like, do I buy in now? Because like I thought, let's say Aptos, like we said, getting at between $2 and $3, went up to $5. I was like, oh, fuck. Well, I think it's not going to go any higher. Then it went 8. Now it's $13. That's like a 260% gain. And it's like I don't even want to buy in right now because like I'm scared that it's just gonna drop. Like if you're a person, like not financial advice, but if you bought in at $3, I would sell everything right now because you have a gains that you wouldn't get that in the savings.
Real gains.
Real gains.
I think that's the thing as well, that maybe like for like lower tier coins, obviously they're higher risk, aren't they? Right? Like Bitcoin, a 30% jump is massive. Whereas you said with like Aptos, 30% would not be that big a jump because they're much higher risk.
You need billions to move Bitcoin, and Aptos you need millions. Like let's say it is becoming a better.
That's the thing. It all depends on the total market cap, right?
Absolutely, and that's what people negate to see. Like often it may be 0.001 coin, but it has such a large supply and its market cap may be billions. So you're not expecting it to be $1 anytime soon.
But I think that's as well. Like if you're holding small market cap coins, yes, maybe you're expecting a profit of 100% or whatever, but would you be happy with 90%? How much have you risked? Like how many things pay back 100%? Like Stash, how long had you held Aptos for?
It would have been like a few weeks, months.
A few weeks. Could you imagine anything that doubles in value in a few weeks? Like that's the thing. It's like you just got to take those wins. And yes, it could have tripled, but take a double. Take a double and buy an ugly NFT.
So for like this is going further down the line sort of thing. Let's like the token Pixel token, right? So Pixel token is what I personally get from having my Sappy Seal staked, right? And a lot of different NFTs have their own tokens. Karafuru, for instance, is talking about doing a staking program and getting their own tokens and stuff like that. So Pixel token at its height was worth about 25 cents. This was back in 2022, back in the peak sort of thing. But I was getting the Pixel token for free every day. I was getting 50 of this Pixel token for free every day. Back when it was 25 cents, that was some big money every day. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sell it. I'm going to take it out. You need to do an ETH transaction to take out like the Pixel, to claim the Pixel, and then just transfer it to ETH. And I made, just from having it staked, like about 0.1, I think, 0.1 ETH just for free, which in today's money is what, like 130, 140 quid? So now I've had my Sappy Seal staked for what, like a year and a bit. And so I've got that was about, I don't know, 5,000 of this token. Now I've got about 16,000. And the price has gone down so much. It's now currently sitting at 0.0 $0, half a penny basically, half a cent. So it's gone down from 16 cents where I sold it to half a cent, and so now what I've got is worth, I think, about 0.05 of an ETH, something like that. It's like,
so why do you think that price has plummeted so much? Is it because all people are doing ever is selling it? They're receiving it staked and selling it.
I believe so. For instance, with this project specifically, they're talking about this. They're creating a Pixelverse, right, which is going to have the currency used within it.
Mhm.
You can already use, or you could already use the Pixel token to purchase different items for in-game. So there was like a founder pass and stuff like that, which you could purchase with Pixel. It was something like 10,000 Pixel though at the time, and me only having one Sappy Seal, I was not making anywhere near enough, and I wasn't really aware of the fact that I could buy Pixel for ETH
Mhm.
at the time. But yeah, I think also the fact that everyone that's staking is getting this token, right? So it's just the amount is just going massively, massively up, and it's not really got any utility just yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's a bit off topic, but it
No, no,
goes
it's
to show,
interesting, definitely.
like I'm very grateful for the fact that I sold then. Even though it was just a little bit, because it was like free to play around with. I think I bought an NFT which I lost all my money on anyway.
Yeah.
It changes the losses, right? So yeah.
I'm in a weird position, right, where I feel like at the age we're at, we should choose riskier investments. And this maybe is a weird way of me thinking about it, but we're young enough to make the money back.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's
Hello.
also another side of it that says, well, actually, if you invest in stable investments that return you 5% a year now, you'll get huge returns. But it's weird. It's a weird one, isn't it? Whereas, like, I feel like now is sort of the age where I need to take a few punts
Absolutely.
and see if I can build something.
I don't want to be 40, 50 years old and finally enjoy like a good life. Like I want to enjoy my life while I'm young and able to do these things. Because I always hear
Like,
from
40 and 50-year-olds are pretty young still. You know, they're not
maybe
decrepit,
older,
Stash.
but like I'm hoping to have millions in the future. Like in the future, that's my dream. Like and this is where I definitely think being a DJ in crypto and investing in the right assets is going to probably pay off.
So here's an interesting question. So we're at an age right now, well, I'm the oldest, I'm 29, where we could potentially hold our crypto for the next like 50 years if we want, right? What do you think is going to happen to the market in 50?
90%, I bet 99% of the cryptos of what we bought now would be dead. If we held it for 50 years, I think some will rise, some will get bought out by others.
So the market cap right now for crypto in general is 845 billion.
Oh, it's not 1 trillion anymore.
I think.
No.
Yeah. I mean, it went down.
I think when FTX went bust, they think about how many billions were in FTX alone.
Yeah.
And the amount of faith that was lost.
Well, this is pounds. This is pounds.
Pounds.
Pounds. Yeah. Sorry, I talk in dollars. So
yeah.
it's $1 trillion, $1.08 trillion.
It's not that much.
It's
like
not,
if you think about stocks and shares or whatever. I don't know. I still land that we're very early. I
100%.
was talking earlier to a partner saying about the fact that
cake.
So it was saying the fact that I think that digital currencies are going to be the currencies of the future.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think some of them are going to be fiat owned by governments, but I think cash is dying, and governments want it to die.
Yeah,
because like for them,
they can't trace cash, can they? That's the thing. They want every control of every.
I mean, you see
everything you own.
You see over and over again so many different businesses that just don't take cash anymore.
Yeah,
it's all credit card payments. But if I like condense that question down a little bit, okay, so maybe not everything, but what do you think Bitcoin will be doing in 50 years' time? I think Bitcoin's not going to die.
I don't think it's going to be number one. I don't think it's going to be number one. I think like there will be other, like, let's say, well, okay, I guess to get the store of value, but Ethereum has the technology, you have the applications, you can build actual things on top of Ethereum, and there will be essentially a cap supply. It will decrease, it will become deflationary as more people use the network. And
so do you think Ethereum will succeed in its Bitcoin killer?
I think some people will wake up and think, well, Bitcoin is basically just useless technology. It's meant to be a store of value, but what the Bitcoin communities, but it essentially ruined it with the original visions and all these wars and and not halvenings, forking to the different versions, I think people are going to wake up being like, hey, hang on a second, this is a way more valuable asset. I just think right now, because Bitcoin is still the OG and we're still early, people are just going to be a safe bet.
So I think Bitcoin is going to be an antique. And by that, I mean Bitcoin will be in our modern markets like we've got today in the physical markets. It will be gold and it will be diamonds. It's there. People like it because it's shiny or it has some ethos with it. Oh, you have a Bitcoin. That's very like, it's a flex. It's a whatever, right? I've been in the space for ages. I've got a Bitcoin or I've got loads of money because it'll be worth lots. But Ethereum is oil. It's what actually makes the world go around. And oil is our currency maker now. Fossil fuels are now. They'll go, obviously. But for me, it's that comparison. Bitcoin is gold or diamonds.
That's really good.
And Ethereum is oil.
Yeah.
And that's how I see them. Ethereum will kill Bitcoin because Bitcoin is useless apart from the fact that it's shiny.
Yeah. Or something else might kill Ethereum. That's the thing. We don't know. You don't think?
The killers for Ethereum are built on Ethereum. That's the reality. It's like Polygon.
So if they kill Ethereum, they're effectively like seppukuing.
Yeah, but that's honestly, I look at like the things that would kill Ethereum. You know, higher rate of transactions, less fees, etc., are all built in Ethereum.
Yeah.
So, do you see what I mean?
I do see that point of view, but to be devil's advocate, I think right now, because all these upgrades to Ethereum, there are blockchains that have literally all the upgrades already that Ethereum needs to make for it to be like a viable thing. Do you think people will, I guess it's end of the day, it's the institution, maybe JP Morgan be like, oh, I don't want to be in Ethereum anymore, we're going to something else. At the end of the day, it's what the big boys decide, not what the...
Ethereum is a big boy, though. You've got to think about it this way. Ethereum's got two things, potentially three, that are hard to get into crypto: users, cash, and trust. And those three things are very, very difficult to build. And I think like Polygon and stuff that's built on Ethereum essentially goes, oh, if you want to be Polygon, we can link you in with all of Ethereum's users, liquidity, and trust. So that's why I think Ethereum's killers are going to be built on Ethereum, because it's going to be the building block. And obviously there are other options.
I was going to compare it. So I feel like effectively Bitcoin, let's say, is Microsoft, right? And Ethereum is something like, I don't know, Samsung, let's say. Sure, there's definitely better technology out there that people are making, smaller companies are making, that could potentially dethrone Samsung or Microsoft or whatever. However, people aren't going to necessarily buy into it because it's not got the reputation, because it's not got the mass attention, right? So I feel like Ethereum and Bitcoin are here to stay in terms of like Apple and Microsoft, right? But I feel like there are going to be a lot more companies that come along. But I feel like those are going to remain the two at the top.
For me, Ethereum is going to stay because I think a lot of the protocols that are really good are built on it. That's like sort of, you know, like Apple.
No, I do agree, yeah.
Apple got you in with the iPhone, probably, or an iPod. Either way, that's how they get most people, right?
Right.
At which point you buy a MacBook. You probably get some headphones. These
headphones aren't Apple,
but do you know what I mean? But that's what they do, isn't it? And they
make it exactly. Easy. They expand and expand.
Brand loyalty,
and that's what I think ETH does. I think ETH has got that building block. It pulled you in as Ethereum, and now it can sell you anything built on Ethereum, and that's where I think it is. It will be the coin, but I do think Bitcoin will be that long-standing store of value. And Bitcoin has got popularity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fact that Bitcoin hasn't got any big blemishes on its name, really, like the Ethereum rollback. Do you see what I mean? Like things like that. And it's been around for years and years and years. It's gone through relatively unfazed by all the ups and the downs. Do you know what I mean? Like the protocol's never been like huge issues and stuff. So I think that's where Bitcoin will stay. And yeah, and I see it as gold, and I see the Ethereum as the utility token of the future.
Yeah.
And I think the things that would kill Ethereum will be built on its back. And Ethereum might dissipate. It might end up not being really a token, but I don't know, at some point. But I just think that with the money they've got, doing things like, I mean, think about when they changed their proofing system and it didn't crash the coin. Like, that is a lot of faith from me. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a fundamental change.
Yeah.
And it's working. Doesn't mean it works forever, but it's working. I don't know how many other chains could have done that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. Maybe like, I don't know, BNB or something like that, the Binance chain.
Yeah, and BNB's backed by Binance, obviously. Like,
but you do have to have a lot of faith from your customers to make such a drastic change and maintain that value. Like, there wasn't.
Well, they had to because I think the people were shying away from Ethereum or pulling funds because it was so polluting to the environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
The energy costs, and that's why people are seeking alternatives that were already advanced in the proof of stake technology. Because
I'll compare Ethereum as I see it to Apple again. Like, Apple use a theory of second best. I don't know if you guys have heard of this. So lots of people like Huawei or whatever, or whoever do this, do that, and they all put like, this is my new shiny thing on my phone, and it's like an under screen fingerprint scanner, or it's like Face ID, or it's whatever. And then what Apple does is they sit there, and I'm not shilling Apple. I'm not actually a huge Apple fanboy, but they sit there, and this is how they do it. They go, well, we'll look at what everyone else does, and we'll try and take that and just make it better, and just take the ideas that people actually like and make it best. So they arrive second, but best. And it's like, I mean, look, the iPhone, that wasn't their idea. Do you think
the worst, second the best.
Third the one, obviously Chris with a big hairy chest. Now, but that's what I would prefer my chain to do. I wouldn't want Ethereum to be the first guys to go with a different proofing system. I'd want them to be like, do other people's work and then we'll do it.
That's the thing. It's taking that risk, right? It's expanding the technology, but it's taking the risk. And then if you do it one way and someone else just takes the idea and does it better, then they're clearly going to be.
Or they do it the same. Like, like, you can obviously just do it the same. Like a lot of things that people do is just copying. And if an idea is a good idea, everyone's going to copy it. Yeah, it might take a bit of time, but I think moving away from having to use such computing resources to run your blockchain was inevitable. It was such a waste of energy, but that's why Bitcoin will die if it doesn't adapt.
Yeah,
but people will still trade it because it's shiny, like I said. But like diamonds now, if you think about I don't know, diamonds might be better than gold because gold is actually functional now in like computers and stuff. But why are diamonds valuable? Any idea?
Because of it's the guys that control all the mines.
Yeah, literally, they only release a certain amount of diamonds per year, and they advertise that diamonds are really expensive. And you think, well, they're not actually, but you get diamond tip saws. Like, oh, there's a saw blade with a diamond tip on it. Well, how expensive are they? And it's like, well, obviously, big diamonds you're having in rings and stuff are harder to make than like diamond tipping stuff. But do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not. Yeah. it's a fake value, and I sort of think that's where Bitcoin lands as well. Is like, it's a shiny lump of metal or a shiny stone, but it's not useful to us anymore. It's the grandfather, it's the building block. Everything else is standing on Bitcoin, but I don't think that it has a future as anything other than a nice shiny object in the corner.
No, yeah, I do think that's a good way of putting it, really.
But that's my stance on it, boys. Nice. Has anyone got anything else they'd like to say about Bitcoin, about Ethereum, about the markets in general?
Not really. You know what I really want to know? I really want to know if Stash has something for us this week, because he disappointed massively.
Boys, this is the most expensive thing I've ever got in my life.
We had to cut out what he got out last week on camera, didn't we, Chris? That wasn't for
public viewing. No, that's the thing. He was like, guys, I've not got anything this week except for and that's the end of the episode. So.
Absolutely. Well, do you know what though? It was unsightly, Chris. I couldn't believe he'd done it to us, really.
So It comes in this really fancy box. I can't show you the front because that's where the name is.
Oh
But
my
do
goodness.
you want me to tell you the price point so you can maybe guess?
Oh well, hold on. Show us the good,
Okay.
and then we can guess the price point, and then we can guess, and then you can tell us which price point's correct.
I'm guessing it's a donut. Oh my
Stash is
God.
the bougiest man I know.
What on earth is that?
Da, 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 da. Oh, wait 1 sec. Let me
That's
get the mic.
crazy.
Uh,
Right, Chris, what do you think this one donut costs Stash?
I mean, surely anything more than a fiver is just ridiculous.
I think that donut right there is £7.50 worth of donut.
Go on,
So,
Stash.
so I went to celebrate my birthday yesterday. I bought 6 donuts for £36.
Oh,
And you are the closest, my friend. This is a pistachio donut. For £6.
But where's
£6. So Chris is the closest.
where's
You're
it
the
from?
closest.
No, I said £7.50.
$7.50.
Because I got this because I saw a viral place on TikTok, and this chef, pastry chef, has come to England to open up a
Donut
store.
Elliot. Oh my
Yes.
God.
He's obviously seen the podcast. God, there's one bloke who'll buy these
Yeah.
donuts. I know.
Yeah, literally. But honestly, I had like a cookies and creams one. Honestly, they're unbelievably good. The
Ash
one
was
I
his
had.
only customer yesterday, and he's still rubbing his hands.
It's just such a beauty. They're so aesthetically pleasing. Like I don't want to bite
Oh
it
no,
in
no,
person
you
because
don't
it
have to bite
explodes.
it. But
I'm hungry. I've
Stash,
been waiting. I've been literally waiting for this part because like we've been talking for a while before we
have been
started
talking.
filming, and I was like, I really want to have a donut. I'm hungry. But
Yeah,
But no,
go for it, Stash.
Stash is going to walk us out.
Oh,
No, right now, Stash, with your mouth full, you need to do the outro because you're taking on my jobs.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
He's come over here. He's taking my job.
Taking all your jobs, me over. So thank you so much for listening to this wonderful group of people talk with me, Weaving Web3 podcasts. I'm Stash.
I'm Chris.
And I'm James. Have a lovely day.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Perfect.